This episode is brought to you by Snapple. Want to know another Snapple fact? The first hot air balloon passengers were a sheep, a duck, and a rooster. Ridiculous. Check out Snapple.com to find ridiculously flavored Snapple near you.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the must not take yourself too seriously and 6'1" since that matters. And what do I even say other than hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
Hi, Chantel.
Hey, Roxanne.
Happy, I don't even know what day this is because we're going to release it a couple days later. So there's no point of even saying what day.
Okay.
I know. We're going to get right into it though.
Okay, let's go. Let's do it.
So this episode is going to be a little different. We are actually doing a deep dive on why Teresa and her former co-host actually cut ties. And we have receipts and proof of everything we're saying. So everything that we are saying is going to be backed up with receipts.
Dun,
And
dun, dun.
yeah. So, well, the reason that we're, speaking out on this is because Teresa's previous co-host, Melissa Pfiester, blamed the entire reasoning for the ending of her podcast with Teresa on us.
Yeah,
So
on us, which is weird.
it's wild. So I want you guys to follow us as we dive into what really happened and how Melissa Pfiester betrayed Teresa Giudice for troll accounts, essentially. And again, we'll have all the conversations. We're going to post everything. Once
And this was just
public.
recently that she came out with an article, like, right? Like, it was like Daily Mail or something that she came with an
Well,
article
yeah, we'll
saying that?
get to that. Well, no,
Okay.
no, she didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chantal. Uh, what? She said what? No, she responded as to like why the podcast came to an end. So she just did something and she responded. So we'll get into that, but let's get to the beginning. So, first off, how did Melissa and Teresa even start a podcast together? They got together after Teresa's good friend and attorney, Jim, paired them up. He was actually a guest on Melissa Pfiester's podcast. He had known of her husband, and they all got to talking. They thought it could be a good match since Teresa was going to get into the podcast world to do it together. So, that's how it essentially started. And I personally knew Teresa would absolutely kill it on her own because Teresa has such a strong fan base. And now that she has her own podcast, we do see that it absolutely was better to do it on her own because she got number one right away off of one episode. And with Namaste, I don't even think they made it to top 25.
Yeah, I think it just in general, like if you're ever choosing someone when you already have such a following, it's like, why am I choosing this person? Like, what value are they going to bring to me? Like, what are they really there for?
Yeah.
So I think like there should have been more of a deep dive on like what this value is going to bring because
Yeah.
you're the one bringing the value. You're the one that's bringing
Yeah.
all the people. So
Right.
yeah, I think that was mistake number one.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Maybe it was a chance to dive in. She didn't know that much about podcasting, and Melissa did.
Yeah, so there's that. But, also like when you are signed on for a podcast network, there are, opportunities where you could edit things yourself or the podcast network will do everything for you. But from the beginning, in my opinion, the chemistry wasn't there. Melissa Pfiester seemed outgoing. She seemed nice, but they just didn't go with each other. I just think people were more invested in Teresa's life, which makes sense because again, them together, it never really made sense.
100%.
The last time I listened to the podcast was when they appeared on Watch What Happens Live. Teresa brought Melissa, and Melissa Pfiester complained that after like they filmed their Watch What Happens Live episode and it aired, Melissa Pfiester complained that she wasn't seated next to Teresa and that she was a bartender. She was also upset Andy didn't ask her any questions. And I just thought, okay, I really can't. Yeah, I was like, I can't listen anymore because I got a weird fame obsessed vibe because if Melissa had any self-awareness, she would know that of course she wasn't going to get a seat next to Teresa because people didn't know her. She was
You're
just
not
like
on the Housewives.
yeah,
You're not like any like the other people that get seated are like other, A-list,
actors,
B-list, C-list,
comedians.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There's something that they're providing, and like the people that are at the bar are like they're still creative people, so it's like you should be
Yeah.
honored to be at the bar, to be honest. I would kill to be at the bar.
Absolutely. Exactly. So it was if you go back to that episode and you listen to it, all the red flags are there. And again, I always have good gut feelings about people. Like Chantal always says, well, you always say I have gut feelings in general, and it always comes true, which is
She's
so
a good
scary.
intuition, yeah.
Yeah, and I just like after that episode, I was like, I don't feel good about her. But anyway, so I stopped listening. We would get messages all the time of people saying, why is Melissa Pfiester on Teresa's show? And people would send us all the bad reviews. And none of them were bad reviews against Teresa. They were all bad on Melissa Pfiester. And I thought, okay, this is a good thing because Chanel, every time, someone leaves a review, you would think that Melissa Pfiester would take that and be like, "Okay, this is what they think of me, like, maybe I need to change my approach."
100%. Like any, no matter what, like when we get something, we try to take into consideration if it's something that we can't take into
Especially if people are
consideration.
being
Like,
respectful.
yeah, like if it's like someone's like, I don't want to hear about your guys' lives, like, and it was multiple people telling us that, like me and Roxanne would never talk about our lives,
Right,
like we would just,
absolutely.
yeah. But like when we get way more people saying, no, we like we like when you talk about your lives, we're gonna talk about our lives, So it's like you have to like take everything into consideration when you're like looking at,
Yeah.
looking at what people are saying about you.
And there's no way Melissa Pfiester did not see those reviews. You look at your own reviews. So, she for sure saw it because again, she would see everything. In fact, on her previous podcast, she used to tag us on everything she'd ever post for us to share it. So she's been wanting to get in the housewives world. And this is not Namaste. On her old podcast, she would tag all the like housewife Bravo accounts on every new podcast episode, like hoping that we'll reshare it.
Like, you think that she wanted to get on as a fan or as, like, a housewife?
I do think that she eventually wanted to be a housewife and she just wanted to really be in the world of like housewives, like even as far as like a podcaster and things of that sort. I never listened to her podcast before. I never saw it on the charts. I don't know if it was, but I never ever was familiar with it. I just know she would just tag us on them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we met Melissa Pfiester officially at BravoCon. So we saw her 3 times. One time walking alone. Chantal, do you remember the time when we saw her walking alone?
No.
Yeah, she was, like, leaving a room, she had just changed, and she was, like, walking alone, and we were going the opposite way, and I was like, "Chantal, there's Melissa." Another time we saw her at the Namaste merch booth, and then Saturday evening at a club we went to. So, I remember the Namaste merch line being the longest of all the booths, but many people kept asking who was next to Teresa. They didn't know Melissa Pfiester, but they wanted a photo with Teresa. Melissa Pfiester truly thought that these people were waiting in line for her. Again, there's no self-awareness. She was nice when we said hi to her, so I don't wanna take that away, but you could tell, like, it was
At
just
the
so
booth. Yeah,
awkward.
I didn't even say hi to them. Like, honestly, Toya from, Married to Medicine was right next to her, and she barely had a line, so I was like, "I'm gonna go talk to my girl Toya," she's from Detroit, so
Yeah.
I didn't even, like, get introduced to Melissa at this time.
Well, they saw us. We
Yeah,
were in Toya's booth. Who kept saying Roxanne or something?
Louis, I think, and then,
Yeah, Louis or
yeah.
Teresa or I don't know, and Melissa. They were like, well, it was fine. Like we said hi, they had the longest line ever. We were waiting in that line. We're like, all right, okay, hi, like, but we were talking to Toya. Toya's booth was right next to them. So we saw her then. And again, we were like going by the line and like listening to people and people were like, who is that? Like who's next to Teresa? And we're like, Namaste Bitches is her podcast and that's her podcast co-host. And like you could tell that a lot of people wanted pictures with just Teresa, but Melissa Pfiester, like, because it was like their podcast thing, made sure she was in every photo.
But,
And
like,
even
again,
yeah,
someone should be self-aware enough to
I
know that
know. Oh my gosh.
people want just a picture with Teresa, like, I would step
I
away unless
know.
someone said, like, "Let's take a picture together," like, I would love to, and then, it's like, you should be excited alone that your podcast name is being promoted, like,
Right,
that's what the
right,
excitement should be. You should be on the sideline like Louis was really, unless someone's asking Louis to take a picture, you should not be in all
right.
those pictures, So to
If
me,
I was Melissa, I would have been like, hey, by the way, do you guys want a picture with just Teresa?" But she really like thought she had to be in every picture. And again, that was another red flag. If you go on the BravoCon Facebook page, which is like a huge Facebook account, people were commenting and saying, who was this girl next to Teresa? Like I wanted a picture with Teresa. So it was like a thing.
and some of
Um,
these people, like a lot of people at BrevoCon, you guys are like casual watchers from like the
yeah,
TV. Like they're not on social media. They're there just to have fun, which is a
right.
great. Sometimes that gives good energy, too.
Yeah, I
But
loved
like
it.
I would say like 20% of people at BrevoCon are like that.
Yeah. So we see her Saturday evening, which is the last night of BravoCon. Where do we go, Chantel? What
We
was it called?
went to Delilah. It's in the Wynn Hotel.
Yeah, and we were
And
with a bunch of people, a
yeah,
bunch of
it was a more
housewives.
of exclusive event that you could tell that was like that you had to either have a party or something there, and then like the housewives were having like they were like they reserved
Yeah,
a bunch of booths for just themselves or whoever
yeah,
wanted to go. So
yeah. So, yeah, so we were there and we got there before her. She comes in by herself. She's having drinks. She's smoking. What was your impression of Melissa Chantal that night?
I thought that she was nice, but I always felt that she didn't have any like self-awareness about what was like going on with her, because it's
Yeah.
like, like we have so much self-awareness. Like there was a moment where Larsa comes in and wants to talk to Teresa and or whoever's at the table. And like you could tell Larsa was like kind of a little bit, weary about us, too. And was like making sure like, she wasn't saying anything that like, like she shouldn't be saying, or she was just weary, but like she was really nice. She was like, "Oh, where are you guys from? I know who you guys are. Like I know who like your culture is and stuff like that." So she was really nice, but like Melissa the whole time was trying to get in that conversation. So like to me, that's like when I was
Oh,
like,
and we
okay,
didn't. We weren't
and
trying to
yeah,
get it. We
we
were
I was
like,
like
oh,
trying
no,
to,
that's your
yeah, I was
conversation.
like
Let's
Roxanne,
walk
like trying to
away.
like, yeah, I was trying to get us to like make sure that like Larsa did not even think that we were paying attention to her because we weren't. We didn't care, because like
Yeah.
we're not ever like we have self-awareness to know like if we're wanted or not at the same time. And like at that moment and at that time, this was strictly fun. Let's have a fun time. You guys had a long day. We had a long day. We're all having drinks. Let's just chill.
Yeah, and I remember when Larsa first walked in, like Melissa like ran up to her and she was like talking to her for a minute, and you can just tell she doesn't have self-awareness to be like, okay, it should be a short conversation. It shouldn't be like this like long conversation. You could just tell Larsa was like, you know.
And I yeah, 100%. I guarantee a lot of even the housewives didn't know who she was either.
Yeah, no, yeah, and there were a lot of housewives from OC, from Salt Lake City. There were so many people there. So anyways, like, yeah, so that happened. And I remember that evening Louis was going out to smoke and Melissa Pfiester asked if she could come with him to smoke. And Louis was nice to her the entire time. She seemed so happy to be there. She was like loving it. And Teresa and her were laughing and vibing and she was loving it. I get the impression that some people were like, I don't know, her energy is just a little bit different. But I mean, whatever. She was like nice. Some people or everyone's different. So
Yeah, to me, Teresa's the type of person that, like, if that's her girl, like, this is her
mhm,
business. It's what they do. Like, she's gonna invite her. She's gonna, she's gonna make sure she's part of her circle. And like, that's how I felt. I thought she was great with her.
yeah, yeah,
Like you couldn't
yeah.
see one. To me, there wasn't any issues between them
And this
two.
was the last night that Melissa Pfiester was there. Okay. So, and this timeline is important, you guys. This is the last night that she was there and she went home, the next day type of thing. So after BravoCon happens, Tamra Judge goes on her podcast and says that she heard Louis yelled at Melissa Pfiester at BravoCon. And it's like, great. Now another person, trying to make Louis look bad when he was so kind at BravoCon to the fans, to everyone. Even again, back to that Facebook BravoCon page, like everyone was like, I, didn't know what to think of Louis. He was so great to us. So, and now all of a sudden Tamara's saying that. And where do you think Tamara got this information? Tamara didn't just make it up. I immediately suspected Melissa Pfiester told Tamara that right away. So now it gets around that Melissa Pfiester was yelled at from Louis. And on November 7th, I get a text from Melissa that says, quote, what the caps lock FUCK with Tamara talking about me and Louis, question mark, question mark. I tell her she needs to address it. And she responds, this is fucking bullshit, Roxanne. I say, don't wait, address it. Everyone's already DMing us about it. And I think it's the night we all went out to the bar. Cause at this time, I'm thinking that it was that night at the bar. I don't know why I
Yeah,
thought
because
that.
like they did go out. They did go out. They actually did
The
go
day
out to have a
before.
smoke. Yeah, well, they
Oh,
did
well,
go out to
no,
have the
but
smoke.
yeah, nothing happened there though. I thought it was at the bar simply just because like they were all hanging out, but I don't know. They went out the day before. I don't know if they did, or I don't know if she was with them. Maybe not. Maybe she was like mad about that. I don't know, but I don't know. I just assumed because we were all at the bar that it was the night of the bar. She says, "quote We already talked, Teresa and I, doing an episode about it Thursday or Friday, and then she asked like, what is everyone saying?" I reply, this is, by the way, my first conversation ever with Melissa Pfiester in text, my first one. I reply saying they're saying how Louis apparently yelled at you. We're saying it's not true. We were there. I'm thinking in my head, Again, is she saying this happened Saturday evening when we were all together because a bunch of housewives were there? I tell Melissa Pfiester that Teddy was there, not Tamra, but Tamra's the one saying it. And I say to Melissa Pfiester, did you say anything to Teddy? She says, caps lock, what? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. She says, are you fucking kidding me? Question mark, question mark. I don't ever, ever, ever talk to them or anyone ever. Dot, dot. This is bullshit. And I say, that's so,
Wow, that's
yeah,
even that is red flags. Like I feel like
I
I don't remember
know,
you
I
like even telling
know.
me this.
Well, yeah, I know. And I say, and again, I'll put this conversation out. I say, quote, so nasty of Tamra to do and Tamra to say. She replies, Tamra is going to take it out. She then says, this is a fucking joke. I don't respond because deep down, I know Tamra isn't making this up and that she heard this. And I'm in my gut is telling me Melissa Pfiester told her this. On November 8th, Melissa Pfiester
And like,
text,
wait, and if Tamra's
yeah,
gonna take it out and you don't talk to these people, like, how do you know she's doing that?
right,
Teresa doesn't talk to
exactly.
Tamra, so who's talking to her?
Right. So, well, she explains that here. So on November 8th, she texts me and she said, I didn't hear anything in 2Ts about it. I think I got her to take it down. I said, quote, yes, she took everything down. Melissa P says, we talked and I asked her to do it. I say Tamara's an idiot. Melissa Pfiester, the one thing about Melissa Pfiester is she liked to play dumb all the time when she knew everything that happened. So she responds, quote, who was actually talking about it, Teddy or Tamra? I say Tamra. And then I say, I'm assuming Teddy told Tamra because Teddy was there when we were all out. Like, I'm just thinking it's from that night. She says, quote, Tamra actually brought it up, question mark. I say, yes. She responds, quote, unreal. So Teresa and Melissa Pfiester then do a podcast together addressing it, and most people who listened knew it was a shit show. A lot of people thought Melissa Pfiester wasn't having Teresa's back, and Melissa Pfiester was being very careful, almost because she was guilty because she probably did tell Tamara that. She
Mm.
then kind of defends Tamara in it and says she and Tamara have been friends for years, which bingo indicates she definitely told Tamara this, not thinking Tamara would open her mouth, which wrong move. Like, you should know that Tamara would open her mouth. And even when she says, like, she's known Tamara and been friends with her for years, Teresa's like, you have? So that was so awkward too. So the episode makes people turn on Melissa Pfiester because Melissa Pfiester was wild in it. Immediately, Teresa and Melissa delete the episode. Okay. It
Oh
wasn't
yeah, yeah, I
like,
remember this. I remember this.
yeah. Yeah, they delete the episode. Teresa actually calls Tamra because she wants to know where Tamra heard this. Tamra doesn't answer. And when Melissa Pfiester finds out that Teresa called Tamra, Melissa Pfiester tells Teresa, do not call her, do not waste your time, do not ask her anything. And that tells you right there, she absolutely
Guilty.
told Tamra that even though, like, she was like denying it and stuff, like that right there. If Teresa's calling Tamra to find out who told you, and about my co-host, and your co-host is saying, don't even bother, don't even ask her who told you. Tell me that doesn't mean she told her.
Oh, 100%.
Tamra, we need you to be honest about this, okay? We need you to be honest about this. So, if you've been struggling with dry lips, I have the solution for you. I've been on the hunt for a pain-free lip plumper and finally found one that plumps and hydrates my lips. As I've aged, I've noticed my lips have gotten thinner and dry, but with City Lips by City Beauty, I've discovered a solution that not only restores moisture and plumpness, but also smooths away smoker lines. I don't know about you, but when I use lip plumpers, they can be so painful and irritating. That's why I switched to City Lips. It gives me the plumpness I want without the discomfort. Some really awesome benefits is it has gentle formula, free from irritants or harsh chemicals, and it just provides an immediate and long-term plumping effect. It also smooths out the appearance of lip lines and wrinkles. What I love most about City Lips is the fact that it's been my solve for dry chapped lips. Nothing feels better than having hydrated lips. And the biggest bonus is it gives you a full plump lip. And it even has a 60-day money back guarantee policy. If you want fuller and plumper lips with City Lips, shop citybeauty.com and get 15% off site wide with code TRH. Now, we'll come back to BravoCon, but let's move on to our involvement. So, there are a couple of troll accounts, and please reference our past podcast episode where we talk about the truth on the drama that happened on social media. Because I'm not going to get into the names of the accounts, I'll just call them troll accounts. But go back and listen to that episode where we explain all of like the social media drama that went completely crazy. And it'll make more sense. But I think most people have listened to that episode. Okay, so anyway, so these troll accounts, there is about 5 of them who were formerly Teresa fan accounts. They had joined, some of them had joined our Patreon, and some had even asked us if we'd ever have fan guests. And we would say, listen, we like on our podcast, if we would have guests that were like fan accounts, and we would say, listen, we can't because our schedules, and it's already hard filming with just us two. So figuring it out with like another person, it's just going to be a lot with like where our lives are. But we said, we'll have you on, and we're just thankful for anyone who supports us. These accounts, though, are accounts who are on the computer 24/7. They're really invested in the show. Like if you go look at their tweets, they're on 24/7. And we're Team Teresa. We thought they were Team Teresa. We're friendly. They would DM us all the time. Anyway, so on our Patreon, we do an Ask Us segment every week, and we constantly would get, what do you think about Teresa and Melissa Pfiester's podcast? We did not answer for months. And
Yeah,
finally,
that's weird because we
yeah,
really wouldn't, because like I feel like
we
we didn't
avoided it.
care. Yeah, we avoided it because we didn't care to like, I guess, like, put it down or say our opinions. And like look how like we kind of knew that not to, in a sense, because like look what all hell
Yeah,
broke
look what
loose.
ended up happening.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Um, so finally we simply said
And
we
I think it was
support
my doing. Like I finally read it. And I was just
yeah.
like, yeah, okay,
I
go.
don't know. Yeah, it might have been. I don't know if it was, but yeah, we typically would always skip it though. We always would. We're like, it's not worth it or anything. We'll just like skip it. But then this whole thing at BravoCon happened, and anyways, like the people who are on our Patreon typically though are like we have like a really great community of people, and then those like bad apples of the troll accounts. Um, so anyways, we didn't answer for months. We finally answered. We said we support Teresa. We know Melissa P has another great podcast, but they don't have much chemistry, so we don't listen. And for those who think that we're getting paid, if we're getting paid, we would have blind loyalty and be like, oh my gosh, it's the best ever. Like Melissa's amazing and such a, but no, we thought Teresa was great in it. But we never thought that Melissa Pfiester and her had chemistry, which is fair. That was all. We even propped out her other podcast. We were respectful about it. But one of those troll accounts who were on our Patreon, who became suddenly switched their account to a Melissa Pfiester fan page, which red flag, went back and told her we said this. And keep in mind, we never said this on our social media. We never said this on Twitter, on Instagram, on our main platform, which has a way larger audience than our Patreon. We just said this on our Patreon. Um, and let's say we were to do a podcast with a celebrity as our co-host, which we would never do because we'd feel so out of place and it would never make sense. But let's say like we did see all these terrible reviews. Like we were saying earlier, we would take the feedback and try to be better because we know we're with like an icon, right? Like that's what you would do. Instead, she doesn't do that at all. So what's interesting again is that many people thought this and said it, even other podcasters, but because we said it, it was the biggest deal to Melissa Pfiester. It's not like I had a relationship with Melissa Pfiester. I had no relationship. I just told you guys the first time we ever texted. So anyways, we blocked that troll account who sent it to Melissa Pfiester on our Patreon, who and this account would DM us paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs that were all always overwhelming. And we were respectful and we said, listen, we can't have you on our Patreon. We hope you understand. We never block them off our social media because it is what it is, but we just don't want someone like that on our Patreon. Melissa Pfiester ends up joining our Patreon for one day under an email that her maiden name is in, and we can see the name on the payment. And she cancels the same day. She tells Teresa that we're talking crap about Teresa's podcast, and then she tells these accounts. And we have the clip of what she sends me. So look what she sends me. I don't know if you can hear it though. I'm a little worried. I'm nervous. So let's
Try make
see.
it loud and I'll tell you.
Yeah. Don't think they work together. This is what we said. I think they both can do amazing things individually, and together it just doesn't make sense. Because, like I said, I think you need to have a really strong connection. And I know you guys keep asking us about our opinion. It's such like a sticky subject because we don't want to say anything wrong because I'm sure the co-host had a podcast before and it was successful, they don't really make sense together. And that's it. And I think that, based off the reviews and just everything, I think Teresa, it would make sense for her to do it on her own if she still wants to do a podcast type of thing.
Yeah, to me, it's like I find Teresa very interesting, and the fact that, like, my answer to it, like that, I never rush to go listen to her podcast. I haven't, and I love watching Teresa on YouTube. Like, I love watching her and her family. Like, she's interesting to me. So I think that there's my answer to that.
Right.
Very well said, both of us. I swear you were so nice, and like I was articulate with what I was trying to say too. Like it really is what it is what it is.
Keep in mind, you guys. So this is gonna like shock everyone because it's so crazy. So Melissa Pfiester was in a group with several Teresa fan page accounts on Instagram, which was so weird that she was active and she was the admin on it. So weird. So anyways, on November 12th, Melissa sends me the clip of our private Patreon, and I just shared the clip, and she texts me and she says,
on November 12th, is what you said?
Yeah.
Oh,
She texts
wow.
me and she says, appreciate it, friend. And I say, hey, we do an ask a segment with several people commenting on you. I was respectful about it and said it's a sticky subject and that you guys would do great things, but you need to have a strong connection. It's no disrespect, just my opinion. We would never say it on our main platform because we don't want to hurt you, but you do have a successful podcast prior, and we noticed that. You guys, look how she responds. She responds in all caps lock. Don't want to hurt me? Question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. You both just went caps lock in on me on our podcast and what was said on a caps lock deleted podcast. You think you're doing your friend Teresa a favor? This caps lock does not. I was like, Melissa, if you read the backlash from the last episode, not one person thinks you were doing Teresa a favor. So let's not go there. Okay. I got a little snippy. She goes, appreciate it. I said, I think there was a lot of feedback and hopefully it makes things better. She goes, it was a deleted podcast you are referencing, which Teresa asked you not to talk about, and you still did. All good. Appreciate you both, period. Friends, period. So she says that, and then let me and then she also has this troll account DM us who used to be that Teresa fan page and now is a Love Melissa Pfiester account she was the one who sent her the clip, and she is the one that sends us paragraphs. She has us like DM us and ask about like, how do you think Melissa and Teresa even got together? And we had said always said, and I have the messages. It was very like, we think Melissa's husband, he has like a connection to NBC. Her husband's an agent. So we said that to one person, and it was to this account who would send us millions of DMs all the damn time and who was like a huge Teresa fan account. Okay. So that's all we said to her. She went back and she showed that to Melissa Pfiester. We said that to her before we knew she went and sent that clip to Melissa Pfiester too, by the way. So, and we've noted we like to DM our listeners back. We love creating a relationship, but after all of this mess, we definitely have backed down, and we've seen a lot of you guys say like, it really sucks because we like love that you guys like connected with us, but it's also like hard now to trust anything because when we said the husband thing, it's not like we said anything wrong. We literally just said it's probably because the husband. Because if it wasn't for the husband, they would not have connected, and that's just the case. I'm sorry, that's just the case, right? Like that is one of the connections. Connections happen all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, we said that to her Love Melissa Pfiester fan account. I didn't even realize she had changed her account to Love Melissa Pfiester either. I should have known, but I wasn't paying attention. So anyways, she texts me on November 15th and she says, and please do not ever talk to anyone about my husband. You know nothing about who, by the way, is not at NBC. I do what I do, and I get what I do because I'm an amazing podcaster, caps lock. Not because of anything or anyone else. You were all sweet and kisses that night. We were out then talking shit and disgustingly and not factually saying things behind my back. If you have nothing nice to say about me, please don't say nothing at all. I go, I don't know what you're referring to. I said you had an amazing podcast. The podcast with Teresa indicates, based on every review, that people are not vibing with you. We've been asked to comment on it and have chosen not to on anything public. Please stop talking about us, which you have been, but have the audacity to ask that of me. We're literally not talking about you, and respectfully remove the episode. If anything, you should take the feedback and want to be better versus taking it so personal. Have a good night. She goes, I know you talked about my husband and got my podcast because of him being high up at NBC. Please leave my husband out of your mouth, which you know nothing about. You are taking reviews of an episode we tried to do in response to bullshit rumors and perpetuating the bullshit. Please stop. You guys, please go and look at the reviews. I'm not making this up. It's every single review. It's every single review talking about Melissa Pfiester. And I said, and I know you spoke mad shit about me all day. Every review actually on Apple Podcasts says it doesn't work together with you guys, not just from this podcast. And you're taking that on me and still rage texting me when, again, I was respectful about removing the episode after I knew it hurt you, which we did. So that was that conversation. In February, on our Ask a segment, we get asked from one of our listeners, whatever happened with you guys and Melissa Pfiester? And again, people were asking this every week. And this was in February.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
And so in November, we were still getting asked about Melissa Pfiester, and we don't want to comment on her anymore. People knew we removed the episode, and they knew it was because of Melissa Pfiester, because why would we have removed that? And we said on our Patreon, we're like, listen, we're going to remove this out of respect for Melissa Pfiester. We don't ever want to hurt anybody, and it hurt her, so we're going to remove it. So we removed the episode, and our listeners were still asking about it every week. So in February, someone asked about it. We just reiterate what happened. We say, this is what we said. She got hurt by it. Okay. Remember when, by the way, I mentioned those 5 troll accounts. So we still had one more lingering on our Patreon. She tells Melissa P that we answered it again. She sent her the clip, and what does Melissa Pfiester do? Melissa Pfiester gives it to another troll account, which I will say who this account is because she's hungry for the attention, so we'll give her it. This account was Melissa's Old Nose, aka they also have another account, Love Gabriella, and AllRHONJ Facts. This account was a Teresa and Jennifer supporter who we blocked back in October because there was so much toxicity with her. She was known for making fun of people's appearance, like just always going too far. Margaret Josephs had a cease and desist against her. She also made up a fake Margaret Josephs like racist video. We wanted nothing to do with her, even though she supported Teresa and Jennifer. Like, again, gut feeling. Go back to our last podcast where we explain everything about her involvement in it. But we had blocked her back in October, just because there was so much toxicity. What she ends up doing, so that troll account, Love Gabriella, Melissa Little Knows. She also runs RH1JTB on Instagram. She ends up making a Melissa Pfiester fan page. Why are these people making this many accounts?
It's weird.
What is your outside life like? I am afraid. And so she makes a Melissa Pfiester fan page account. And Melissa Pfiester takes that clip that this girl, that other troll account sends to her. She gives it to Gabriella, and then she has Gabriella put it out on her Love Melissa Pfiester fan account page. Okay. So Gabriella posted all over social media because Gabriella's like hurt that we had blocked her back in October and that we wanted nothing to do with her and that we saw who she was. Again, we're vindicated because she ended up really showing who she is. And so they made it public. They put it all over social media. They put it all over Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff. That's when shit goes downhill because these 5 very loud troll accounts who are on social media 24/7, who've made this their lives, completely go at us. They start attacking us for going against Melissa Pfiester, start talking about my unborn baby. I'm 9 months pregnant at this point, you guys. They start sending DMs to Teresa of how Roxanne just started a war and how she went after Melissa Pfiester and Roxanne did this. You can never talk to her. Roxanne. When I read the DMs of what these people were saying about like how affected they were by me and Chantel, it was scary. It was so fucking scary. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, we followed these accounts. Like, we supported these accounts. Like, we didn't have to do that. We thought we were all on the same page. We would sometimes talk to them, not all of them really, but if they like responded to our podcast or whatever, they would share our podcast, So I was like, what the fuck is this?
It was just so weird. It was just
It
like
was
so
so
odd.
scary. Like, we're like, these are like grown women really doing this. Like, these are like, it's crazy. Where they're like really trying to be like, Roxanne did this, Roxanne did that. They hit up like, like when Jim Leonard had reached out and said, hey, like you guys, like let's not all like fight, let's not bring unborn babies in it. And they're like, Roxanne this, Roxanne that, Roxanne this. I'm like, what the fuck? All because we said this about Melissa Pfiester on Patreon? Like, this is crazy. And the one thing that people know about us is we're consistent. I've had this website from 2012. I was always Team Teresa. Never has that opinion ever changed. We remain consistent and I've never churned because that's who we are. That's what we believe in. We're Team Teresa. We always will be. That's how we feel. When we watch the show, we're like livid for Teresa. We don't flip flop. We don't kiss ass to anyone, even if they're BFFs with Teresa, or do a podcast with Teresa. We'll call it like it is, and we just discuss the show. So it gets dirty fast, and the ringleader, Gabriella, she's behind it all. Again, go listen back to our last podcast about social media to understand who she is. When this happens, people start coming out because they are shocked by all this. And we find out that Melissa Pfiester's involvement with these accounts are way more deeper than I would ever have even thought. We find out that Melissa Pfiester pushed on the podcast that she had with Teresa, like, let's have fan accounts in the end. And she had all of these troll accounts that are talking mad shit about Teresa, talking mad shit about me, talking mad shit about anyone like affiliated with Teresa now for not defending Melissa Pfiester. They were all on Namaste Bitches at the end of their segment for the fan portion.
Which is just
And that was something
crazy.
Melissa Pfiester like put together.
Yeah. Because guess what? Because guess what happened? She promised them that because like they were running all these like fan accounts for her. So she's like, I have to
Yeah.
do something for them.
Yeah, exactly. So we find out Melissa is in these Instagram groups. And when we expose that, because she starts engaging in these accounts, attacking us and calling us all about the lie, she's encouraging all of this to trash us. And again, I'm 9 months pregnant and she's having these people like trash us. We share that someone who was in the group. Thank God for them. They reach out to us and they say, I am in this group. I've always had a terrible feeling. I've had relationships with other people. So I've just like kind of paid attention to what's happening in these groups. And they were like, they showed us like everything. And when we put out that Melissa Pfiester was part of these groups, she like had wrote in the group once she found out that we shared that she's in it. She was like, wow, thanks guys. Really guys? Because
And that's
yeah.
just like how she talks.
Yeah, literally. So then she texts me in February. Melissa Pfiester texts me in February. This happened in February, right? Did I already read these February ones or no?
No.
Okay, so she texts me in February. Let me get them. There's just so much, you guys. She goes, can you call me for a pleasant civil talk? I say, hey, I'm at work until 5 p.m. Eastern time, so I can give you a call after. She says, this is insanity, Roxanne. This is way too sad and hard for all this absolute nonsense to be going on. I just want us good like we always were and for all this negativity to stop. We both are amazing podcasters, amazing moms. We deserve better for ourselves and towards each other. I go, I agree. I don't think this is a good look on Teresa either when everyone's fighting. We meant no disrespect to you personally, and all these accounts have made things 100 times worse, which the other side is loving. That's why we've stayed silent. Associating with these accounts who is threatening us, harassing us, and bringing my unborn child into it is not something you'd want by your side when everyone is disagreeing with them. I was like, I've learned to back away from faceless accounts as it's the only time drama occurs. We do want everyone to be successful, period, and don't think this helps anyone causes, but makes everyone stress more. We do an Ask Us section on Patreon. We never would publicly put anything out there about you for clickbait or for anything. She says, please know 1,000,000% I have caps lock, never ever caps lock, not once told one single person or account to go after you, let alone say horrible, disgusting things. In over 4 years of doing podcasts, I've never talked shit about anyone. That's not what I'm about, especially when we moms are supposed to be on the same team. Just you guys wait to what I'm going to share with you, by the way. She says, would you be willing to go on your next episode and say we didn't mean to start anything or to be hurtful, and we 100% know Melissa's not behind any of these accounts saying nasty things to us? We support Namaste Bitches and they support us. I'll then share, repost it, and have Teresa, so everyone across the board sees it and can stop with all this madness, stress, making everyone's life better. Does that work? Then I said that these accounts posted our clip. I don't want to say their names, posted our clip talking poorly of us. And then you commented kissy faces and things of all that sort, hyping them up to continue talking crap about us. I was like, we haven't spoken on this on our main platform because it has a way larger audience. The only place we have spoke about this is on our Patreon, but we don't put clips out on our Patreon. We could say that on our next Patreon episode that we texted and we're moving forward and that we want no problems with you at all. We haven't made any comments on anyone's social media pages. Even if they have had our back, we don't engage in it, haven't shared anything on Instagram. She goes, I haven't commented ever on anyone's nasty posts, not one. And she says, at Melissa Pfiester, my account, never, not once. I go, I have screenshots of you engaging with these posts, with them trashing us in support for you and you putting kissy face, which hypes people up to be nasty. And that's why we haven't commented or engaged in anything, even if it wasn't support for us, so that it doesn't give people a reason to come at you. She says, I've never commented on one mean post from my account. What do I show her, you guys? I show her a screenshot of this account saying petty, jealous people like all about the lies. And she comments and she goes, kissy face, kissy face, kissy face. I said, I would appreciate if you ask the same 5 accounts that are harassing me and support for you to stop the hate. And we will also say we're moving forward and supporting each other mutually. And then I was like, I would never condone people who speak that way or want people like that to support me. I was talking about my unborn child, period. And I was like, and I know unfortunately people are looking at you differently because of these accounts who you're following who are going so low. So if you could say we're moving forward and supporting each other mutually, we'll absolutely do the same. Teresa unfollowed these accounts after seeing all the madness. It's not a good look when an account is harassing others and making fun of others, but supporting you. That's not the type of people you want backing you, but that's on you. She's like, what's the kissy face that I did on that post? And I did not know anyone was even saying anything until I was sent posts on Twitter, which I don't even use, about people calling me a bully and loser. You guys started again for no reason. Sunday or Monday started this entire shit show that has completely stressed all of us the F out. And now we're having to deal with it and clean up this mess. Please just make it right. You guys threw the first punch 3 times. It's got to stop. Please say we shouldn't even said anything unless it was in support of my friend Teresa, her podcast, and her co-host. I will talk to whomever is saying shit. So to the troll accounts listening to this, she is denying that she knew anything that you guys were doing. She played you guys. So just so, because we all know they're listening. So anyways, I say, Melissa, we've been asked every week. We said a 10-second thing and moved on. And when I said this account sent it to you, then you go and send it to Gabriella, who blasted it. And then the 5 accounts followed. You then addressed it on a podcast to your audience. You made it relevant. We did not put it on a public platform. We did not put it on Instagram. We did not put it on our stories. We did no clickbait, nothing. Should we have answered the question? No, we're not denying that. But you made it into this big deal. You made it relevant. We haven't even acknowledged it because at this point we hadn't. She's like, regardless of where you put it out there. Again, for no reason. You are supposed to be supporting Teresa and a friend, which means you support our podcast, which whether you like it or not means supporting you. There was zero reason to bring it up again, which started this whole shit show. Just make it right for everyone, your girl Teresa included. And I will go to whomever saying stuff and tell them not to say stuff.
Ay.
Por favor.
Yeah, por favor.
And then I just don't even respond to her. And then she keeps posting that we talked about her husband. Again, we told that one Love Melissa Pfiester fan account that, I think her husband is bigger and he is an agent and he's involved with NBC. That's all we fucking said to that one account who showed it to her. To nobody else. Never once brought up her husband. So I hit her up and I'm
a lot of this was from her at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Everything blown out of proportion was from her.
Yeah.
About your podcast. I'm not saying that she forced these people to be crazy the whole 5 months because no one can force anybody.
But she labeled them, she followed them, all that stuff. So okay, in February 23rd, I go, can you please stop telling everyone? Because she makes a comment about us. I go, can you please stop telling everyone I spoke about your husband? You and your husband are successful. I said that he's big with NBC, and that's probably a connection to one account who asked. I will clarify this on our podcast about the husband thing so people can stop thinking I spoke about your husband because you keep saying I spoke about your husband. You keep putting all this out there to the world when it was just one person to justify you bringing all of this out to the public because she's now saying I did it because she spoke about my husband. I was like, I'll clarify on our Patreon what happened and elaborate what I said about your husband to which account that I meant absolutely no harm, and I'll read the text. She says, I'm not talking to anyone about you or this. This is so fucking insane. I cannot even believe what was started. Everyone just needs to say nice things or not say nothing at all. Just as we reach out to our kids. Don't even bring up my husband. I don't want you talking about him or what you think he does. I just want you to say we should have never said anything negative or Melissa or Namaste Bitches, since we are all in the same team and Melissa is not behind one single person saying anything negative towards you. That's it. That's all I want, please.
It's just wild for someone to like try to tell someone that they can't have an opinion about something.
Right. And what to say. No one, not even a housewife has ever told me
and it
that.
wasn't even that deep, you guys. It's like we did not like everyone, even when we first deleted it, everyone was like, why the hell did you guys delete that? Like you guys didn't say anything wrong. Like everyone's been saying the same thing. So for someone to keep going and going after you and saying you need to make this a public apology, you need to say that you don't believe that anymore, it was just wild.
Oh my gosh. And even like Teresa, when this was all happening, she's like, I understand you have an opinion. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. Like, we have AllAboutTRH.com. We're neutral. We'll share articles. And sometimes the articles aren't like the best of Teresa, but that's like our website. That's our business. We share everything. So a podcast is more like opinion based person, things of that sort. And they know that no one has ever told us what to say. And here Melissa Pfiester is telling me what to say. So who is Melissa Pfiester? So I say, so I go to her, I've gotten several screenshots of you saying that she spoke about my husband and that's why you're upset. And now everyone's asking me. Like people were literally DMing her and sharing she was saying, yeah, Roxanne at AllAboutTRH spoke about my husband. I was like, again, these are things you are putting out. It's so confusing. And keep in mind, the accounts that she's supporting and talking to every day are fucking sitting there talking about my husband, talking about my kids. Like, who am I? Who the hell am I?
Mm-hmm.
And she's supporting them. So I was like, so now I look like someone who speaks about a husband and I'm not supposed to comment and say what happened. She's like, please just say that and end it. I don't want my husband talked about one more time. This bullshit had nothing to do with him. I want this done. It has caused so much stress to everyone's life about things that shouldn't have been talked about to begin with. We all say nice things or nothing at all. Roxanne, I would just like for you to stop commenting about me and our pod forever, unless it's something nice. I was like, I'm not bringing your husband into this. You're messaging people saying I'm talking about your husband. Your actions and what you say for me to do not make sense. Of course, I'll have a response to all this and be nice. Have a good day. She goes, thank you. And if you see anything else not nice, please show me who it is and I'll reach out and tell them that this shit needs to end. This all needs to end. So I literally show her commenting on a post. And this is what Melissa Pfiester said. This is a screenshot. It says, if you want to tell stories, Roxanne, and all about the lies, please get your facts straight. I've never not once subscribed to a single Patreon, let alone waste one penny on two people I've always been nothing but nice to. I promise. She subscribed to our Patreon for one day. She's like, as a fellow podcaster, wife, and mom, you think you'd have more respect towards one another. Clearly you don't. And as a friend of Teresa's, bashing her podcast co-host, it's a joke. Oh, and FYI, please do not ever talk about my husband again, who has more dignity, kindness, and respect in one pinky than you both combined. Have the best day ever, sugar pies, or should I say a day you deserve. Kissy face, kissy face, kissy face. She said these on these accounts that are sitting there talking about my unborn child. She commented that. And I sent it to her because she's saying, I've never said one thing. I don't even know what's happening. And I go, again, you are bringing your husband into this when we never say something bad about someone who we don't know. We'll defend ourselves and share what we said. And we never meant to hurt you and that we support you. And we're done talking about it. We're not making public statements of any of this and we'll continue not engaging in anything. We'll let Teresa and Jim know too. She's like, I heard you were telling people I only got Namaste because of my husband. That's false. No one should have ever said that in the first place. Please end it. I will message anyone saying bad shit about you. Please say it on your pod that I had zero to do with anyone talking about going after you, that so all this could end. I was like, I have exactly what I said. I DM'd your fan account who asked me. I tell her who it is. I was like, I'll send it to you right now. I never publicly commented. I never would. I was like, so we will read what we said and how we never spoke on your husband on Patreon, podcast, social media, except just responding to a DM that you, like, at the end of the day, she had that girl reach out to us and ask us. I was like, you keep saying you don't want these things out there, but you brought it to the public. I don't know your husband or you. I know you two are successful. I'll leave it at that. She's like, you know how this bullshit works. Once someone hears something, everyone does. I heard the same thing from multiple people, hence why I thought you kept talking nonsense about it and why I address it. I go, share receipts. I was like, I responded to one person. Please share a receipt. Share receipt. You made it bigger. You made it public. If these things affected me, I wouldn't bring it to life, period. She goes, oh my gosh, Roxanne, caps lock. Please just fucking stop. Just say you're sorry. You should have never made comments multiple times about Teresa's podcast and her co-host. I've never sent anyone after you, and I will tell anyone saying mean things to you to stop. This is insane. Again, I'm like, you made this all public. I'm almost done, you guys. She goes, nope.
Yeah, I'm like, damn.
I know. She goes, nope, don't think so. You started this shitstorm after BravoCon. Jim, Teresa, and me all asked you to stop. Then you started again for no reason this week. I did nothing but respond to lies you put out there. I've never nor would never spend money on a Patreon, let alone go around. You guys, we can see the payment, by the way, of her name. So I'm like, this girl is a pathological liar, and it's fucking scary. She's like, please just stop. It's driving everyone insane. And the last thing I said, I was like, you joined our Patreon, canceled the same day. You went back to Teresa. You told Teresa I'm making money off of her. I've been doing this in 2012 and do the same on our site. You made things bigger. People are disagreeing with how you handled it because we were very complimentary towards you. Should we have made the comment of you having no chemistry? No, we'll own that. But we didn't put it on social media and start this war. You did. We didn't do a response on our main platform. You did. We don't encourage accounts to talk badly about you or put kissy faces because at least they're having our backs. We don't roll like that. You do. You've made everything public. We apologize for hurting you with saying this chemistry thing, and we would never use it as clickbait or bring attention to a clip. But you want it out there. I'm done responding or engaging. It's going nowhere. Okay, so that's what happened there. We end up texting one more time in May, and I block her account. Just so you know. So then Jennifer Aiden, and so like just so you guys know, like throughout this, Jennifer and Aiden and Teresa unfollowed these vile accounts, but Melissa Pfiester keeps following them. They now start attacking Louis. They're saying Louis caused Melissa Pfiester a miscarriage at BravoCon, yelling at her. Now they're saying, first they were saying we are against Teresa because she didn't defend our god Melissa Pfiester. Now they're saying we're against Teresa because Louis caused Melissa Pfiester a miscarriage. And at the end of the day,
it's a very, 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 very big accusation to make.
And I do think, like I will say, like, yes, these accounts are doing this, but Melissa Pfiester obviously told them this, okay? Like, she obviously told them this. So in March, we're still getting attacked nonstop from these 5 troll accounts, and people are asking Melissa Pfiester, why would she still follow these accounts that have turned on Teresa, are saying Louis gave her a miscarriage, saying the most vile things about us? Melissa Pfiester says she has not kept up or seen the battles, which is a lie. She then tells Joy Rosenberg 1, that's her Instagram account, that she stays off social media as much as possible, which again is another lie. She sees everything. She says she doesn't want to be a part of it, and a podcast started this whole thing. She says, not trying to start more, but this legit all started with AllAboutTRH talking about our podcast. Again, she's blaming us. Now these 5 accounts, again, they're saying that Melissa Pfiester got a miscarriage because of Louis, yelled at her and BravoCon, which we were there the last night, as many housewives were present, and she was all over Louis and Teresa. That was the last day she was there. No indication of something like that. So Melissa Pfiester is now supporting accounts that are saying this, and every time Melissa Pfiester gets asked about it, she'll answer every single question except that. She refuses to acknowledge or address the miscarriage thing. And it's like, why don't you just come out and say, absolutely not. He did not cause me a miscarriage. That's not even a real thing. Like, why aren't you coming out?
And at
Why
this
are you
time,
just ignoring it?
they're still recording, correct?
Yeah, they're still doing a
yeah.
podcast together, and she's still not doing it. And if you went and told these accounts that, if that is the case, and I think she really probably went and told Gabriella that, and Gabriella told everyone because Gabriella has a big mouth. We'll get to that very shortly. But she went and told all these, she went and told Gabriella that, and Gabriella went and told everyone because Gabriella tells everyone's business, that's just who she is. So Gabriella is going at Teresa and Jennifer. Melissa Pfiester still continues to talk to Gabriella. And again, like Chantal, you just said, they're still doing this podcast with Teresa, even though you would never do a podcast with someone who caused you a miscarriage, their husband caused you a miscarriage. So Gabriella used to speak to every account under the sun, and she would tell them everything. In comes Sunny. Okay, Sunny is a Twitter account. Sunny actually spoke to us in the past, but then she stopped talking to us because Gabriella told her that we bullied her when we blocked her back in October because we realized who she was. So Sunny is like an investigator, I call her. She used to always send us everything that we wouldn't see. So Sunny spoke with Gabriella religiously for 2 years and would basically be the source of all of Gabriella's content, and Gabriella would take credit and then like put her tag on there, which is so bizarre. They spoke on the phone all the time. They texted all the time. Sunny, when this all happened and Sunny saw how Gabriella now flipped and is trying to get Melissa or Teresa and Jennifer fired, Sunny went and she was disgusted. And she came to us and she told us everything. She told us everything. She showed us every screenshot. She showed us absolutely everything. She says that Melissa Pfiester did tell Gabriella that Louis caused her a miscarriage, and that Melissa Pfiester talked so much crap about Teresa and Louis to Gabriella in these accounts. Sunny also tells us that despite Gabriella going so hard for Melissa Pfiester, Gabriella thought Melissa Pfiester was the biggest joke, and that she shares all the, and then she proceeded to share the screenshots of Gabriella talking mad shit about Melissa Pfiester.
Oh
Like, Melissa
my
Pfiester,
gosh.
you lost
Like, you
everything for
guys.
someone like this. You lost
Yes, it's
everyone
like,
for troll accounts.
where's your credibility at that point then for
Right, yeah,
anybody? Like,
yeah.
like, it's like, you really, like, come on.
You said you guys all went against Teresa because we said Melissa Pfiester and her don't have chemistry, but here you are talking mad shit about Melissa Pfiester. So Gabriella had again, the biggest problem that we had spoke about Melissa Pfiester not having chemistry, but in these texts, Gabriella's shitting on Melissa Pfiester's life. So the toxic account that used to harass Teresa and Jennifer to get close with them said the drama made her and the other accounts churn because, again, I said the no chemistry, and then they flip-flop. So in these texts with Gabriella and Sunny, Gabriella is seen sending photos of Melissa Pfiester, making fun of her, saying she's so fake and that she's so cringe. And then Gabriella makes fun of her trying to be relatable and says she's trying to be relatable when she has a housekeeper and a nanny. She then calls Melissa Pfiester thirsty and says how sad it is that she wants attention. So she is saying this.
Really? Then why do you have a fan account of her?
Right. She is saying this. Keep in mind, they're still talking. Keep in mind, even after Melissa Pfiester saw Gabriella saying this, Melissa Pfiester continues to talk to her. Fucking crazy ass people. So Gabriella is saying this about Melissa, and Melissa Pfiester continues to speak to her every day, knowing she is trying to get Teresa fired off the show. And again, at this point, they're still doing the podcast with each other. That's not all. Melissa Pfiester also had a problem with Jennifer Aiden. When these accounts kept pushing that Louis caused Melissa Pfiester a miscarriage, Jennifer texts Melissa and says, "This is crazy." So I thought I should go straight to the source. So I'll read some of the texts between Melissa Pfiester and Jennifer Aiden, and we will release these as well. So like Jennifer is like annoyed because she's like, why is Melissa Pfiester? Jennifer also had terrible vibes of Melissa Pfiester.
Oh, Jennifer was there that night too, and Jennifer was there all
Yeah.
weekend with hanging out
Yeah.
with them all weekend, you
Yeah.
guys. So
So she had like terrible vibes of Melissa Pfiester. Her gut was like really bad about her too, but she was like really nice to her. Again, Melissa Pfiester was smoking. There's a video of Melissa Pfiester smoking and drinking at BravoCon. So anyways, Jennifer, she starts the text. She says, "This is crazy. I thought I should go straight to the source. Did you say all this?" Whatever. Melissa Pfiester doesn't respond for a minute. And Jennifer, Jennifer then sends like that account who first initially the troll account, not Gabriella, who went and like said we spoke about Melissa Pfiester's husband. So this account would bait like people like to say something and then go show Melissa Pfiester. And she did the same basically with Jennifer. She was like, she was like, because this account was like, by the way, this is Roxanne. She's the problem of everything. She's sitting here telling Jennifer Aiden that she's obsessing over me. Like it is crazy. If you go on RHONJ Facts First Lies, they have the text of like this account like obsessing over me and keep mentioning my name, and it was so scary because I'm like, what the fuck is happening, you know? And so Melissa Pfiester ends up saying so Melissa Pfiester ends up like finally responding to Jennifer Aiden, and she shows like a message from Jennifer Aiden to that troll account. We're saying, you know, there's a lot that you don't know that I can't say that I witnessed from Melissa that weekend. So from what you're saying, there's no way a woman would do what she did going through a miscarriage. So believe what you want. If you ever get on a phone conversation one day, maybe I'll tell you the truth. So again, that account was like baiting the shit out of Jennifer, and Jennifer finally responds to that. So Melissa Pfiester sends Jennifer that because again, Melissa Pfiester was in with these accounts, these like troll accounts. And she says, you know, she's like saying, oh, like really, like now you're going to, you know, try and check on me, but like here you are saying all of this. And she's like, not only are you saying I lied about a very painful and very hard miscarriage, which is beyond disgusting enough, but also essentially saying I sexually assaulted you. Oh, because she was being like, there's videos of her like touching Jennifer Aiden's boobs and like really getting close with her, making Jennifer very, very uncomfortable. And they're out there. She goes, and then you saying that I wanting to cheat on my husband because like Melissa Pfiester was also saying like really inappropriate things to them, like that she wanted to do to them. So she was obviously drunk. She goes, I've heard a lot of shit, but this has to be the most vile, disgusting, low down piece of shit, garbage I've ever heard. And not to mention fucking slander. Jennifer says, hello, Melissa. I needed to find a quiet moment and take the time to respond to you. This is why we tried calling you multiple times to clear things up directly from you to find out who was saying these things. So to answer your question, yes, of course, this concern came after because I didn't think that this information was coming from you. Remember, there's a disgruntled ex out there adamant about bringing Louis and Teresa down. Plus, I never heard anything remotely close to what this person was alleging. And there were a lot of nasty things said about Louis and Teresa that I thought there was no way it could be you. So for someone to tell me that you were going through a miscarriage during the same weekend where we were partying and kikiing every night seemed like far-fetched reach. Every time I saw you, you were peppy, high. You were talking to Lisa Hochstein while kneeling by her chair for 20 minutes. That is absolutely true. I saw that whole thing. It was so awkward. She's like, you were drinking and smoking every night, and don't take that offensively. You were. From what I experienced that weekend with you, there was no indication that you were going through anything physical or emotional. You seemed to be happy as a clam. So I'm very sorry for fighting that narrative. I had hold on, because it's like I'm reading it off like an account. I don't know. So she said, when I asked Teresa, I felt terrible, which is why I wanted to clear the air. I should never have gotten involved with that blogger. I saw, and she's talking about that crazy ass troll account that's a Love Melissa Pfiester page. She goes, I saw online what looked like some plot to break you and Teresa apart, and I wanted to know what was going on, so I'll apologize for that. What I'm not going to let you do is curse me out and call me names like a low down piece of shit garbage and imply that I'm lying. With that implying that I'm lying. I keep missing my damn part. And with you talking to me with such disrespect, if it's one thing I'm not is a liar, and I always own my shit. You did say that to me that night point blank about the like husband thing and to my face. You said that a lot of silly things that night. I tried my best to laugh it off, but you should know that it made me uncomfortable. I have a right to stand in my truth, and no one is going to tell me otherwise. She goes, you kept asking me, do you want to run to the basement with your husband and just bang? Oh, you don't bang? No, I don't bang. And she put like a rolling eyes face. She goes, that's a word collage, or that's a word collage. Oh my God. That's a word college kids use when they talk about their slutty conquest. So no, I don't bang. I notice the word used often. So quite frankly, you should know that it makes me uncomfortable when you use that towards me. You were drunk, just buzzed. I really don't care. It happened. It's a fact. And I was uncomfortable, period. The end. I have multiple witnesses. You need to steer away from attacking me for that, going off on me when everyone around us heard you talk like that. So relax with the whole sexual assault thing. I'm going to let that go since you did it without knowing my side. She goes, I can put my big girl panties and apologize for not knowing you went through a miscarriage that weekend. You were very good on putting a brave face, making it seem like nothing was wrong. And I'm sorry you went through it alone. I never thought you lied. I just didn't think the info came from you. So that happened between her and Jennifer. Thoughts on that, Chantal?
Yeah, I just think that's even just wild. Like you're going back and forth about I don't know, it's just deception. Like I'm so happy Jennifer had that thought and like she
Yeah.
called her out on it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like good for her so that she knows. And then also it's like at this point, like if I was Melissa, I'd be shitting myself because like that's one of
Oh
Teresa's
my
best
God.
friends.
I don't
So it's like if
understand.
she's coming after me and saying things or she's like trying to clear the air, like what is my co-host thinking, you know?
Yeah. Okay, we're almost done. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's so long, but there's just so much that happened. So the reason the podcast between Teresa and her former co-host really ended was once we all found out that Melissa Pfiester, well, first off, like it should end when like she's sitting there telling people that Louis caused her a miscarriage. Okay, number one. But anyways,
Oh, 100%. That right there, like
that's it. Like, are you fucking kidding?
you went crazy on Roxanne for saying that your husband's
Your husband's high up
successful.
and successful. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
And you
yeah,
went crazy, like saying like went nuts, like literally went nuts. And then you're talking about your own co-host saying that that person caused you a miscarriage when you already
insane.
know the shit that goes what people are saying
Yeah.
about him. It's just like no.
Yeah, exactly. So, so the reason that Namaste Bitches ended was we found out that Melissa Pfiester was sending all of her texts with Teresa to this troll account. Teresa trusted Melissa Pfiester and was texting her private messages. When all the social media drama happened, the two were communicating, and Melissa Pfiester was taking the text and sending it to the troll accounts that Teresa was referring to, and the troll accounts that were attacking Louis all day 24/7. So Melissa Pfiester was sending it to those troll
Just
accounts.
disgusting. Just disgusting.
I will read them so that you can see. And how did I
Wait, how
get
did
these,
you
you
get
guys?
these? Yeah, how I
Let
was
me
like,
tell
wait,
you how I fucking got these,
yeah,
because
how the hell did you
Gabriella
get these?
has the biggest mouth in the world, and she showed these to Sunny. And she's like, look at these accounts. And we matched it up with like Teresa. Teresa went back and looked at Melissa Pfiester's like text account, and it was the same text. So these aren't like lies. Like Gabriella had these because Melissa Pfiester sent it to her, and Gabriella would send it to other people, just like she would like send everything to everyone else. So Okay, so in this, Teresa says to Melissa Pfiester, so Gabriella sends this to Sunny, the girl that she was in a friendship with for 2 years, and she says that's a text between Melissa and Teresa, and it says you need to get the password. Teresa says you need to get the password back from Gabriella of Namaste Bitches because they lost Namaste Bitches, and Melissa Pfiester was paying Gabriella to run Namaste Bitches, and Melissa Pfiester was paying Gabriella to run her side piece podcast account, and also at the time when Jennifer and Melissa Pfiester, or Jennifer and this troll account was good because this troll account had complained, Gabriella had complained like she was like poor and all this stuff, and like she needed a gift for like her niece, and Jennifer Aiden bought her like a $1,300 thing because she asked her, and that's just Jennifer Aiden's heart. So, and then Gabriella ends up going against her. So like that's that type of character. If you want to believe someone like that, the lies that she's been spreading, that is someone's character, by the way. Anyway, so she sends this to Sunny. She's like, look at this text between Teresa and Melissa. And she says, Teresa says to Melissa, you need to get the password back. And then she she shows her like other stuff. And then she says, unfollow this account. They're trashing me and they're talking about Louis, and they were also trashing Melania. They were trashing Melania for an outfit she wore. And again, Melissa Pfiester's following all these accounts. And these are like accounts that turn in like we're like Melissa Pfiester fan pages. She's like, unfollow these accounts. They're trashing me. And she's like sending the accounts to Melissa Pfiester. And then she says, yesterday it showed you were still following these accounts when my daughter checked. Thank you for unfollowing now because she has been harassing Louis and I. But these two accounts, you're still following, and they're talking about me and Louis and saying horrible things about Louis. And Melissa Pfiester just responds and it's like, I'm not following one of them, but she's still following the other toxic ones. And then she's like, what did this account do? Again, she's acting like she has no idea what these accounts are doing.
Yeah, and she's probably and like she's taking advantage of Teresa like not being on social media like that, and
yeah,
like in
because
La
you
La
guys,
Land.
Teresa doesn't check social media. She
Yeah.
doesn't check anything. So she knows that. So she's like, okay, like whatever, like it'll be fine. So
And also she's so scared to even like unfollow everyone because then they'll turn on her and be like, why'd you unfollow me? You know?
right. So she says, yesterday you were still following her account when my daughter checked. These accounts are also retweeting horrible things about Louis and I. And she shows her, like she shows her because Melissa Pfiester is the type who will deny it and say, I'm not following. So Teresa's like, here you are following. And then Teresa, like Melissa Pfiester ignores her and Teresa's like, hello. She goes, this is what Melissa Pfiester says. She's like, it's so sad. All these accounts used to be your biggest supporters and literally all of it changed. The whole shit show started as soon as Roxanne opened her mouth about me for the second time, even after you and Jim asked her not to. Starting all this gross, unnecessary, disgusting drama. Teresa says, I have no idea why the hell this happened. This has never happened before in my life. She's like, Melissa says, just picking up the kids. Let me call you when I'm home and settled. And one word for it all starting, Roxanne. And then Teresa says,
wait, she really is like, after hearing all of this, like, and we always hate saying this, like, well, it's not even jealousy. It's like almost like she had a resentment. I don't know. Oh my God, this is crazy.
I don't know. You know what? So Teresa responds and she says, it was Gabriella. That's what Jim said. And it was Gabriella. Gabriella is like the ringleader of all of these accounts. Like these accounts, Gabriella talks shit about every single one of these accounts, and other accounts put it out there and they're still listening to everything Gabriella's saying.
She's sending this to Gabriella right now. Like that is insane.
So when she sent this to Gabriella of Teresa saying it's Gabriella, that's what Jim said. That's when Gabriella unleashed and released like some DMs that she had with Teresa, and she would like cut out certain things that she had with Jennifer Aiden and even with me. Go back and listen to that podcast that we talk about it because like I don't even want to go into that, but that is exactly. You're literally sending Gabriella something that your co-host, you called her your sister, is saying, like, you don't know these accounts. You don't know how crazy they are. And now this account's been trying to get Teresa fired after you sent her that. She goes, and then Melissa Pfiester defends Gabriella at this point. She goes, it was not even close. Roxanne threw the first punches twice and literally blew all of this up from everyone. And Teresa's like, you need to unfollow everyone and stop associating with them. You know, again, it's like so damaging.
Because it makes her look bad. It makes her look so stupid. Like you're crying because Teresa is your friend. It's Teresa, like let's say Teresa and Roxanne are friends, and Roxanne just said one word about them not having chemistry, and these people are literally attacking her husband, her kids, her, and like going crazy, and you're still following them. Like she's such a hypocrite.
Right. No, I know. Um, so, yeah, so like, let me see what else I'm looking, and I have all of these, by the way, you guys, I have all of these. Oh, so Gabriella, she says that's a text. So when she says it's a Sunny, she goes, that's a text between Melissa and Teresa, and it's too late to reason with them. They're already pushing the narrative online thanks to the lawyer that I'm the one who did all these bad things on my own, which she did. The thing she's done is the most disgusting, vile things. Like, and even we don't like Margaret, the shit she did to Margaret, like, we'll never agree with. Um, okay, so anyways, she says that I'm the one who did all these bad things on my own. So and she did do all these bad things on her own. She wanted to do these things. She wanted to put these out there. Just, it's all very scary. She goes, so having Melissa tell Teresa to protect my name is pointless. People are already pushing Jim's smear campaign against me, and Jim is literally telling Melissa what he'll do with her look. So so then Melissa Pfiester sends Gabriella a text between Melissa Pfiester and Jim. And or no, she sends Sunny this like message between Melissa Pfiester and Gabriella. And Melissa Pfiester tells Gabriella, and another account is on these two, and I'm not going to even give that account attention. And Melissa Pfiester says, and Jim already told/threatened how he would paint the story. And Gabriella says, paint the story. She goes, oh yeah. Queen Teresa, such an amazing friend, while horrible Melissa still follows all these accounts that bash her. This is what Melissa Pfiester is saying to faceless troll accounts. About Teresa Giudice. Teresa Giudice. She is talking about Teresa Giudice to people who who are irrelevant to this world. She goes, wait, he's literally telling you that he will paint the picture to make it as though you're the issue. Wow, Melissa, get the fuck away from them. Protect you ASAP. And that's absolutely not what he's saying. Another lie coming from Melissa Pfiester. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is honestly so scary. So then Gabriella tells Sunny, so she sends that to Sunny. Then she goes, he's evil and will lie and throw us under the bus to protect his name and Teresa's. If you reach out to him and use my name, he will use it against me. So please don't message him at all. And then yeah, that's basically what she said. Like, she's trying to act like and then she says, I'm gonna go after them and I'm gonna say it's all because of Jim. Like, I'm gonna do this all because of Jim. So again, these accounts are psycho. There's so much that happened, but it's all so crazy. I mean, you guys, Melissa Pfiester gets an opportunity to do a podcast with the biggest housewife on television, and she's sharing texts with Teresa and talking trash about Teresa to troll accounts. It's mind blowing.
No, it really is crazy. And I hope people after this are not confused whatsoever. What happened?
Yeah. The podcast died after that. It was around mid-April. It dies after that. But what's wild is Melissa Pfiester had the balls to tell Teresa weeks after these even came out, she was like, I don't even know what went wrong between you and I. Are you fucking kidding me? Remember when you were calling her Queen Teresa, making fun of her? Are you kidding me? She took no accountability for all of this. And the craziest part is she still communicated with Gabriella. She still paid that troll account who's trying to get Teresa fired with her other account. So, and we had mentioned this before, but it's important to note this. In December, Teresa had switched networks. We congratulated her. She asked us how much we made on our podcast. We shared what we made with her just that month. This was in December. I had blocked that troll account back in October, Gabriella. And frankly, I would never tell anyone how much we made, but we know Teresa just wanted to know to compare, which we were okay with. Teresa goes and tells Melissa Pfiester this so they can get a ballpark because they just switched networks. And Teresa was positive in telling Melissa, like, she was so happy for us. When Melissa found out, she went straight to Gabriella, told her how much we make. Gabriella told the other troll accounts, and they all started tweeting it and said, we make this money off of Teresa.
Well, and I think that's when we knew. We knew
that's when we knew Melissa Pfiester is so fucking involved.
That was our first proof.
Yeah, and then we got proof of these text messages.
Yeah.
So Melissa Pfiester would literally go back, and every conversation that Teresa would have, she would go back and tell these accounts. Teresa finally ends up unfollowing Melissa Pfiester. Melissa Pfiester sees it right away. The same girl who says she's not on social media and isn't paying attention, and Melissa Pfiester immediately unfollows her. So it's just so bizarre to me because it's like you just say you're never paying attention, you're never on. But then guess who follows Melissa Pfiester suddenly after that happens? Like suddenly within 20 minutes, guess who follows Melissa?
Who?
John Fuda.
Yeah.
Yes, John Food is communicating with Gabriella at this point. So I'm sure like Gabriella was like, oh my God, they just unfollowed
Watch
each other.
out, John Fuda. I'm telling you, watch out.
John Fuda, you are so fucking dumb, dude. You're so dumb. And that's it.
We don't like you, but watch out.
I know, like literally, watch out, dude. Like, oh my God. Um, yeah, so then also Melissa Pfiester says she's no longer talking to the toxic troll account, Gabriella, but we found out that was another fucking lie. In the end of May, Melissa Pfiester gets a text from a random ass number and it says, "Hey Mel." It's literally Louis in another man's body without his tattoos. It's an AI photo. Many believe that the troll Gabriella sent it to set up Louis so that they both can play victims, because Gabriella always made fake phone numbers and would text people, which I'm like, Gabriella probably was also behind. If someone really did call Margaret's son, I'm thinking this is just what she does, you know? So it was an AI photo of Louis, and she texts Melissa Pfiester that this is in the end of May. Anyway, Melissa Pfiester gets this and she sends it to Gabriella and, you know, tries to victimize. And she says, I'm literally at my baby appointment and look at Louis coming for me, knowing it's a fucking AI photo,
Like,
dude.
come on. Why would he
Knowing
ever
it's
send
an
that
AI
to you?
photo, literally. It's clearly a fake text on a fake number, an AI photo with Louis' head attached to another man's body. And Gabriella, what does she do? She goes behind Melissa Pfiester's back. She puts out the text to show that they're still talking. And it's like Melissa Pfiester showing Gabriella and saying, like, I was at my baby appointment and like, look at what I got sent to me. Look what they're doing to me. You know, just like trying to play victim about it. And at this point, no one, including Melissa Pfiester's husband, thinks she's talking to this account anymore. So Gabriella just showed she is still talking to this account and still probably paying her. So not good for Melissa Pfiester, who's lied to everyone about not talking to her anymore. So yeah, because again, at this point, she said she stopped talking to all these troll accounts. So she said she wanted nothing to do with them. Like, she's focusing on her life, like her pregnancy, her kids, which she should be doing, right? So Teresa ends up rebranding, and this is something she should have done from the very beginning. She opens up a podcast on her own, where she'll have like a girlfriend on it every week, or her kids, and it immediately goes #1. Now, this definitely hurt Melissa Pfiester, because once Melissa Pfiester thought it was #1, and together they were never able to get #1, because they were in a match. And because Melissa Pfiester would never take the feedback and adjust. So once Teresa gets #1, Melissa Pfiester hits up Daily Mail and says she wants to make a statement on why the podcast between them ended. Again, she takes no accountability. She said she would never go after someone or try to ruin things. But here we have texts of Melissa Pfiester herself talking shit about Teresa, sending her conversation with Teresa to these troll accounts. We have it.
Yeah,
you know?
even just that alone, like just the sending of the text is where
Yeah.
like your trust, like this is a high profile person, you know? So like why would she ever feel comfortable talking to you, brainstorming with you, doing anything with you if like you go and do that? That's just like a break of trust. Like, and when the trust is broken, I'm done. Like, that's it.
And how could you say I would never try to ruin anything?
Yeah, because it's victim, 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 victim. Of course, like that's all they
How
can.
could you say that? That's so, like, how the fuck could you actually say that?
No,
So again, we
makes
have all
sense.
of these. I mean, we've put all of these up on our Patreon too, but we just never have put it up publicly. But Melissa Pfiester and her troll, who's been harassing us since February, we've been getting harassed from Melissa and her little posse. And we're like, you know what? Enough is enough. And the fact that she's still not taking accountability and saying, and still trying to like ruin Louis' life and all this stuff when he's the nicest guy. He was so gracious towards her, you know. And it's just like I had enough. And so many people are asking, and I'm like, I'm saying it. Teresa's on her own now, and Melissa Pfiester was able to go and talk shit about me in all these DMs, and I'm going to defend myself. I am going to defend myself.
You go, girl.
Yeah. She even says, I could say a lot more on the other reasons I stepped away, but again, that's not who I am or what I do. Sweetie, go ahead, say what you got to say. We'll send all your texts, all these accounts of Daily Mail, send it to everybody, and like we'll put it on our website and do all that. Like, the moral of the story is don't trust Melissa's, especially if you're Teresa Giudice. You cannot trust Melissa's. So that is really what happened with Melissa Pfiester. Now, Melissa Pfiester is pregnant. I will never do what Melissa Pfiester did and allow people. Do not go after Melissa Pfiester. Do not, of course, speak about her unborn child, nothing, because it is a stressful time, all of that stuff. We are speaking our truth. We are speaking the facts because we've been lied on since February. I've been dealing with postpartum. I've been dealing with 9 months pregnant, of them saying lies about me. And I'm finally gonna, I want to thank the people who came out, the accounts there's there's a no clout, and again I'll put their Twitter accounts, I'll put their Joy Rosenberg, all RH1J facts for slides, Sunny, who came out, and then all the accounts of the innocent people who were just Teresa fans, who I don't know, Gabriella was talking to them too, who said, here's the conversation of Gabriella lying and talking crap and telling me that Melissa Pfiester did tell her Louis caused a miscarriage. It's because of you that we were able to finally put all of this together and be vindicated. We don't want anyone to get attacked for this. We don't want her especially to get attacked for this, but we are allowed to defend ourselves and put our truth out there. She just went to Daily Mail. We're allowed to go and put our truth out there on our platform. We've been silent for 4 or 5 months. This has been an hour and 17-minute podcast so far, but that's how much shit has happened, you guys. And we've stayed silent this whole time.
It really has been wild. Sometimes, when you're reading some of the text messages back, I'm like, damn, that is crazy. Really what you were going through is just not okay.
No, it's till this day.
I know.
The same accounts are still harassing and still saying things, and no one's buying it. No one's believing it. No one's when it comes to us, Chantel, but it's just it happened for no reason. I sense that these accounts wanted to do this, and then they used Melissa Pfiester, but Melissa Pfiester was the person behind a lot of this. She allowed it to get to this. She, I don't even know. She wanted fans. She wanted, she reminds me of Melissa Gorga. She went from having 20,000 Instagram followers in a day to 90,000 Instagram followers. We look at all her followers. They're all robots. They're all fucking robots. And so she wanted this weird sense of world. And it gives me Melissa Gorga vibes. And that's why I'm you just can't trust Melissa's in the world. I don't even know if Melissa Gorga wouldn't be this dumb, but it's crazy, you guys. This has been a lot. It's been a lot. I'm sorry. This has been very long, but you guys have been asking us for so long, and we're finally we need to put this out there.
Yes, I agree.
So yes, we'll be publishing this in a couple of days. We've recorded this a little bit earlier, but we just want to thank you guys for all your support throughout all of this, all the people who reached out to us, all the people that helped us. This is the last thing we wanted to be dealing with throughout this. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason, because right now, Teresa is fucking killing it and has a #1 podcast and is doing so well and more comfortable and at ease. And that's all that we want for her.
Yeah, 100%. And for anybody, if you guys want to go and try to kill it, go ahead. We always keep saying that.
Yeah, open up a podcast. Do you make money off of it?
Be authentic. It's really just be authentic and don't lie. Don't lie.
And people will respect it. Own it. If you made a mistake, we've made mistakes. We've made mistakes throughout this, should we have answered the question to begin with? No, we should have never answered the question, because look at all this for what, so we own that too, but we're also allowed to have an opinion, we're allowed to have an opinion, especially in something that's a private atmosphere. We weren't saying these on public platforms. So
yeah, I think if it comes to a point where we feel like we can't say anything about anything, then why are we doing what we're doing?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I hope this.
Proud of you, Roxanne. What you just did. Wow. You deserve. Hello.
Chantal, say people ask us questions to answer, though.
Oh my gosh.
I know, but I think we answered a lot of them. So let me just look. See, people are asking at the timeline.
You did that way. I thought the whole time you're you talking was cause of that.
I'm answering the questions.
Yes.
Well, someone asked, why did Melissa Pfiester choose the troll accounts over Teresa? Why do you think they did, Chantal? Why do you think she did?
I think that she just 100%. Yep, 100%. It's attention.
Mm-hmm. Has Melissa tried to apologize to her since? No. The only thing was she was what went wrong? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Maybe you saying her husband caused you a miscarriage, dude. That's what went wrong. And allowing all these troll accounts to say that while you ignore it and act silent, and all these troll accounts take the shit for it. Are you kidding? That's what went wrong.
A lot of the questions you have answered, by the way, but someone said, how is Teresa going to move forward? Is she going to address anything? I don't feel like it's in her character really to address it, but maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if she will. I mean, we're addressing it, so maybe like I don't think she should now because we did. So
Keep your hands clean right there.
right, yeah, literally don't even. Can you and it says, can you address why Gabriella was allowed to manage their Instagram account? Well, because Melissa Pfiester was very close with this fucking psycho ass troll account and started paying her to run it, which was weird. And then Gabriella was a type who couldn't like keep it to herself. So she would send voice notes to people and be like, by the way, this is Gabriella. So just so you know, this is Gabriella. I run this account. Gabriella would be like, oh, I talked to Jennifer. I talked to Teresa. I do this. I do that. Like she was that type of person.
Yeah.
So
Someone asked, is Melissa P tied to Marge, Rachel, or Messy G in any way? I don't think so.
I don't know. Melissa Pfiester did some weird things. I can see Melissa Pfiester talking to Margaret. I can see her not talking to John Fuda. I can see her doing all that stuff. The only thing that probably like it's like embarrassing. Like her husband's like really successful, so it's like kind of embarrassing.
Don't say that again. Don't say that again. She
know,
does not want
okay.
you to say that.
I'm just saying I'm propping him out. He's very successful. So
Someone said, is the lawyer still involved? Is he still the lawyer? I think they're asking about Jim. Yeah, Jim is still Teresa's lawyer.
yeah.
No, a lot of them you really did answer.
Yeah,
So like,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. They said they're both aren't they both still under her dat media? I don't think she's under her dat media anymore. And someone said a lot of people were like, please explain it like you're explaining this to a 5-year-old.
I swear, if you guys did not get that, please let us know because I'll be shocked.
Did. I really tried. I really tried to like. It was hard. I really tried to like put this like together and
No, you did a great job.
Make sense. Okay, good. I'm gonna like listen back to it. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Someone said, "Why was Melissa Pfiester so concerned about what you guys said on Patreon?" Anyways, I don't know, you guys, because
I think it was like it's almost like a tension, or I really think. Oh, this is what I really think, and I've said this before, is that she really liked to talk about Bravo stuff, and I think that she did not like that we would talk about Bravo stuff, and she couldn't. So like the fact that maybe we heard tea about something, and then we were talking about it, she like would get upset that her and Teresa are not talking about that. But like again, Teresa did not want her podcast to be about Bravo. It's like about her life. Like she is Bravo. So like why?
Well, it wouldn't make sense because.
Yes.
It wouldn't make sense because Melissa Pfiester's involved. And why would they do a podcast talking about Bravo when Melissa Pfiester's involved and you have nothing to do with Bravo?
Yeah, I think it was just like she was trying to be like two teeth in the pot or something, and like
Melissa Pfiester was.
Yeah, Teresa didn't want her podcast to be like that. You know, it's like about her life and what's going on with her and like what's relevant to her in that moment. And it's not about what's happening in the Real Houses of Dubai because, Teresa's not watching Real Houses of Dubai. She doesn't need to comment on those things.
Right. Oh, yeah. And Teresa doesn't watch. Teresa barely watches her own show. She's not watching the other damn shows. Okay.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it was like that she would get upset about that stuff. I don't think jealous is the right word, but she just get upset that like she couldn't be that kind of type of podcast.
Someone who was in the group also said that like when we got number 1 on Apple Podcasts, they said that Melissa Pfiester started acting weird about it. So I don't know, but I don't know. All I know though, you guys,
like there's nothing to be weird about. You had mother freaking Teresa Giudice on your damn show.
Right. Like, oh my gosh.
How like that was a great opportunity in itself. Like how do you not like see that? How do you make sure that I hope she regrets it. I mean, I hope but like it doesn't seem like
she
that.
takes no accountability.
Yeah.
We have the fucking text. We matched up the text. These aren't fake things. She can't come out and say, I never did that. Those were my texts with Teresa. We literally have the text. Teresa has the damn text because she was on the other person texting, So it's like, oh my God, it was just so much fucking drama. But honestly, like we've been through hell the last couple of months, but here's the positive. Like, let's look at the positive. The positive is that these toxic people who were toxic and entitled, and by the way, those 5 troll accounts, they end up saying that they made Teresa because they were like supporting her on social media. They're all newer accounts. Like Teresa's been on the game since 2012. And they were like, she couldn't even send us swag bags or give us gifts.
Yeah.
That's what these troll accounts said. So, like, they're clearly not all the way, right. Like, no, why would anyone be entitled to that? You talk about the show for fun. You're not entitled. I know Melissa Gorka sends, like, her fan accounts, like, swag bags. I don't think anything's wrong with it if you do it, but I don't think anyone should expect it either. That's so scare.
Yeah, I agree.
But the positive in all of this is that now you really saw Melissa Pfiester's character because Teresa was going to still go with it, even though like there were so many red flags. But then once those texts came out, it was done. It was
Yeah,
done,
like you can't at that point, like again, you broke my trust and I can't go anywhere. I can't do this with you anymore.
Yeah, but even with the Louis stuff, she was like willing to just be like, because she knew it wasn't true. So she was willing to like move forward. And
Which
then
is
it was like,
crazy because like I would never.
I
Oh
would,
hell
I would, I
no.
would kill a bitch. I would kill a bitch. Like, are you kidding me? I'd be like, you're saying my husband caused you a girl? Bye.
Literally.
So, yeah, so I mean, positive happened. Like these toxic 5 accounts are no longer like, like people saw them like for who they are and like how nasty people can be.
And
And
they're gonna turn on her too, and then they're gonna turn on the next person, then they're gonna turn on the
yeah,
next
like
person.
yeah. So it's like everything happens for a reason. And now look at Teresa killing it and number one, and that's it. So that is the story, you guys. That is the story of why
90
Teresa
minutes.
Yeah, that is a story of why Teresa Giudice and Melissa Pfiester stopped their podcast together. So let us know what you guys thought about this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if there's any other follow-up thing, but I think honestly we addressed it all and we hope it makes sense. And we've been silent for so long, you guys. So I understand if you think maybe I mean, actually, no, everyone's like, please say something. So, I mean, like, I feel
Yeah,
like we
no,
were like,
no one
pressured to
seemed
say,
ever. We had a
yeah,
lot of questions.
I know everyone's been like, say
Roxanne sent me
something.
literally 25 photos of questions, like
And they
captures.
all are 12 questions. So I'm like, "Oh
Yes,
my gosh." Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, just thank you guys though at the end of this, like with all the bullshit that we've been through the last couple of months. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to listen to us. Thank you for supporting us and being so respectful towards us and for having our back. Like we've seen so many things. We don't want to engage in it, but we've seen you guys have our back. And like I feel like we're not even like worthy of like people to have our back like that. But we appreciate it so much. So thank
100%.
you
Thank
guys.
you guys for everything.
We hope you have a wonderful week and let us know what you thought about the episode. And thank you all again. Bye, guys.
I can't wait to find out when we're posting this.
I know. All right.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.